Hey friends, Jeremy back again with another Guitar Better video. In this video, I'm going to be covering what the guitar is comprised of. So just the aspects, the different components of the guitar to hopefully give you guys a better understanding of what we're talking about and what we're dealing with. So let's dive right in. What we've got first is this square piece at the top. That is called the head, or the headstock, depending on who you talk to or in what connotation, what text. So the head of the guitar. On the head of the guitar, we have tuning pegs or just tuners, depending on, again, just the context and what you're going to use. So these are metal tuners. Those you twist in either direction to tighten or loosen the string tension, thus raising or lowering the pitch. We have this white guy right here. Depending on your guitar, this might be different. It might be the same, different material, different color, whatnot. So this first white piece on my guitar is called the nut. Fun fact, the nut still is, depending on the guitar, used to be made out of like ivory or bone. Now, a lot of times you get the best tone with like a bone nut or whatnot. But on a lot of guitars nowadays, they use just plastic. But anyway, yeah, ivory not as much just because it's illegal for the most part now. So anyway, the nut of the guitar. Okay, next we've got these metal bars that go across, which are called the frets. So on a guitar, depending on just the guitar in general, is going to be how many frets you have, how far down they go. So metal frets. Next we have the strings, right? Pretty simple. Quick clarification. So I'm going to hold my guitar like this now. And what we've got is so strings in order. I'm going to number them. So it goes 1 to 6. Okay, high to low, and that's pitch, that's tonally. So high, right, high to low. And you can play that real quick just to test it out with me. So your strings from low to high, I like to look at them going down. So from my visual down, what do they look like? So I've got your sixth string, it's going to be E. Okay, your bass. Now, your fifth string is going to be A. Your fourth string is going to be D. Your third string, is going to be G. Your second string is going to be B. And your first string is going to be another E. So real quick, E, A, D, G, B, E, and that's from 6 to 1. A way that I've heard it said, like a little acronym to help you remember that, is Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. So that's just a little tip to remember the string names. All right, continuing down, well, around, I guess. We have the back of the guitar. So this is the neck, okay? The neck of the guitar. Back to the front. We have the fingerboard, which is this black. On my guitar, it's black. It's the wood slat on the front of the neck that your fingers actually touch. On a violin or another instrument without frets, it is called the fingerboard. And then on the guitar, it's called the fretboard. Fingerboard, fretboard, they're pretty interchangeable, except for if you were playing like a violin, you're not going to call it a fretboard because it doesn't have frets. Now, continuing down, we have the face of the guitar, right, which is the soundboard. This is what provides the best tone for the guitar in general, as the sound bounces around and then bounces off of the soundboard, creating the notes and creating your sound. Okay, you have the sides, right, and the back of the guitar, just called the back and the sides. Sometimes they have different names, but for the purpose of this, we'll just call them the back and the sides, and then the soundboard right on top. We just learned that. The circle in the middle, or depending on what type of guitar you have, it might be a different shape. It might have just different designs, whatnot. It's called the sound hole. Okay, that's where the sound then bounces around off the soundboard and then gets projected out the sound hole. Okay, so now this is the scratch guard, the pick guard, depending on what you're calling it. Down here, you have the bridge of the guitar. And then depending also on your guitar, you should have like little pegs, right, that will hold the strings in. Let's see. Another good thing to clarify, I had someone ask me once what the dots were. So if I turn my guitar sideways, can you see it? I'm not sure if you can. There's black dots on the side so that when I'm looking down on the guitar, I can see them. But then depending on your guitar, let me see, try to get it closer. Yep, okay. So I think you can see them right there. So these little guys right here. What are these little dots? Now, purely a referential point of so that you can reference quickly where you're at, where you're playing and whatnot. On a classical guitar, they are typically not made with dots, right? So the dots are a much more recent, a newer addition onto the guitar, just to be able, for you to be able to quickly identify what you're playing and where you're at on the guitar. So if we were to look at the dots, the most common, I think, is a dot on 3, or the 3rd fret. So we have 1, 2, 3. You'll notice our first dot, right? Then it skips by 2. So then 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, another dot. 8, 9, a dot. Now, here's where it switches again. So then we have our 10th and 11th fret without a dot. Now, depending on your guitar as well, normally on the 12th fret, they will have 2 dots, which I believe, yep, there it is. So 2 dots on the 12th fret, right here where my thumb's at. That's to differentiate the 12th fret. It's just a little different. So then 12, and we have 13, 14, 15. So it skips again to the 3rd fret from the 12th. So then 15, 16, 17, and mine actually stops. But some people's could be on the 17th fret as well, depending on it. Now, the reason you might ask, you might ask the question, why is there 2 dots on the 12th fret? It's because at the 12th fret, the guitar neck resets, I think is the best way to put it. So I can play my open E on my 6th string, and then go up to that 12th fret where the 2 dots are, put my finger down, play it again. It should be the same pitch, but an octave higher. We can talk about that again later. So 6th string, 12th. So E, E, A, A. Okay, so they reset. So if I were to play a G here, on the 3rd fret, jump up to the 15th fret, it'll sound interesting, but it should sound the same. So it'll be the same notes, but then up higher. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of why the 12th fret is a little important to visualize sooner, more early, whatever. It's just, it lets you know that if you know these notes, you're back to those notes again. And I believe that concludes our lesson on the guitar. So thanks for joining me.